Okay, awesome. So hopefully people can join. So I'm Lizzie, CEO of New Zealand Pony Club. With me tonight I've got Dina.
Hi, I'm based in Hamilton. I'm the Waikato latest board member, just learning how it all goes. Very excited to meet you guys on Zoom and hopefully see you down at conference.
Excellent. And Dina and I are both experienced Pony Club people. Um, I'm I'm in the role as CE, but prior to that I went to Pony Club in Taumaranui and in Tauranga. And then I've been a Pony Club branch president and a DC of the club. So bit of history there. I've been with the organisation 2 years now and love it. Okay, so basically what's on tonight is just to recap what we're looking at for the Pony Club structure. And currently that is the proposal of becoming a 3-layer organisation. So 3 layers of national and then administrative layer and then the club layer. And we're doing that alongside the proposal of updating the constitution. We'd like to discuss with you what this could look like for your area, but your area is already a 3-layer organisation. So you've got your area being King Country and then your 2 clubs underneath. We wanted to share the process of it, especially if there was a change of structure, and the process for updating the constitution. And in the room, you're really lucky because you've got Nikki, who is an expert of constitutions and changes. And understand that, Nikki, you went on a road tour in 2010, 2011 with Anne Atkins when we changed from a committee of management to a board and discussed this with the country as well.
I did
Wow.
indeed. Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, so, and
Good
at that
times.
time, yeah, I've had many conversations with Anne, and at that time you went forward with the board structure and parked the 3-layer structure, which was taking out the clubs at the time, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't really, but what we ended up doing was encouraging branches to become clubs and to merge branches, just like we did
Mm,
in the Waimarino.
So, I could go through all this rationale of why you'd become a 3-layer club, but you're already there. So can I skip that slide? Because it's a bit irrelevant for you. Because you already know the day-to-day operations of being a club and the event, the coordination and the communications and how we'll support you. So basically, no matter what, the incorporated societies has to be updated. The new Act of 2022 came in. I must say it was a bit of a surprise, a bit of a shock to everyone. Even Sports NZ were on the back foot. And so along the same time, normally with a constitution update, we just go and make the changes. There is no marked up changes because they were too vast. So when Todd from the board sat down with his legal background and tried to take our current constitution and make it fit for the current purpose, it just didn't align. So we had to start right from the beginning with the template that Sport NZ provided us. Now, Sport NZ, because like all of us, we knew it was potentially coming, but we didn't know what was in it. They were slow. And we are a Sports NZ organisation, so they use their lawyers, theirs is fit for purpose, so that's what we'll use as well. It saves a lot of time and money for us. So the Constitution basically is our governing document. It tells us our powers and our procedures. It outlines our membership types, and this is a draft. So if there's other things in the Constitution that you're not sure of or you don't understand or you want changed, now is the time to change it. So no matter what, depending on the structure that we're looking at proposing, if there are other things in there, we need feedback on that, because at the AGM in August, you'll be voting on the Constitution as a whole as it's presented in July. This is not yet the Constitution for your areas and your clubs. This is not the general regulations. they will be updated alongside that. And Nikki, once again, is an expert in that. This is not the event regulations, and this is not the final version. So we're in that consultation phase. The final version, we are aiming for July 1st. I'll just go to that page actually. So here's our timeline. We're currently in May. And so we've got a 5th of June board meeting. So at the end of this, there's a survey. And in that survey, a lot of the questions do relate more to the structure at the moment of being that 3-layer structure that you operate under. But also if there's things in the Constitution that you're questioning, like one of the changes is the dispute process. One of the changes is taking the role of the NZPCA president and looking more towards, but it's not written there, but looking towards more of a New Zealand-based patron versus a presidential role. That Nikki used to be the president of New Zealand Pony Club at one stage. If you think that's the wrong move in this constitution, we need your feedback on it, because if we don't get feedback on it, it won't be included in the finalised version. So on the 5th of June, the board are going to have a board meeting, and they are going to look at all the feedback and go, what do we need to put or change in the Constitution? Do we continue with proposing a nationwide 3-layer structure of an organisation, or do we do what Nikki and Anne did in 2010-11 and just kind of say, okay, it's up to you, but we've put the idea back in your head about merger and hope, and the reasons why, volunteers and things like that, and it's up to you. So that's what the board are going to do on the 5th of June. They're going to have a big meeting, sit down and go, what's going to be in the Constitution? Because in July 1st, 1 month out from the AGM, we need to send you the whole entire AGM documentation, which is the Constitution, which is like voting on board members and voting on anything about voting. So that is a really important date for us, is now in the 5th of June. And just like normal, your clubs at the AGM, you get up to 3 votes depending on your riding members' numbers, and that's Taumarunui and Waimarino, and then your area gets 1 vote. So tonight we've got Waimarino here. Have we got Taumarunui as well?
Yep, Sally's there.
Perfect.
Cool.
Oh, you're muted, sorry.
You're muted, Sally.
Sorry, yeah, I'm from Timonoi, and Rachel's listening here because she couldn't get on, so I've got her on my
okay.
phone.
Oh, good one.
Cool.
Perfect. Excellent. So you've got 100% branch club turnout. That's great. At the AGM in August, it's the conference, and the AGM is on this the Sunday. If you can't come along, we do have the opportunity for postal voting, and the information about postal voting will come out in the July pack with all the information about the Constitution, any board member voting, and just like you would do normally for the AGM, your motions are at your normal meeting, and then your club is voting based on what the members want, and the area, same thing. So if you can't come down to that AGM and conference, we need you to do your postal vote and have your say. It's really imperative. It's really important that we get as good a turnout as we can as voting.
Is that electronic voting?
No, yeah, that's postal, electronic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's no such thing as proxy voting, but yeah, it's a postal/electronic vote if you can't attend. Of course, I'm going to do a big sell on the conference and the benefits of conference later on for you. And I know that we always see many of your smiling faces there, and we love it. Straight after that conference, no matter what the Constitution is, 3-layer, 4-layer, as long as it's voted in, it will be submitted to the incorporated societies. Now, in the meantime, in the background, because we've crafted the Constitution based on the feedback, this is why it's really important. If we've gone for a 3-layer constitution and we get to the AGM vote and we're basing it on the feedback we're getting and suddenly it's voted no, we've got a lot more work to try and catch up in another SGM to get it voted in. So we really need to know if we're going that 3 layers or 4 layers. It's a bit of a risk to what we present. If it's voted in, we carry on. We have all of your underneath layer constitutions ready to go. And in October through to March, it's the chance to have your SGMs, send it back to New Zealand Pony Club just for checking, and then it's being submitted to the Incorporated Society. The big thing about people are saying, why are you checking it? Because a constitution, any changes in it can only happen at a board level. And some of the constitution changes that may apply to you is that in this constitution, in this part of the Incorporated Societies, you need to have 10 members, not 15. But we might have 10 members and we might state 5 must be children. But if you're a club that's operational and you've got 4 or 3, they might be changes that the board can approve. So we've got some really small clubs all over New Zealand and they're like, but we go up and then we go down and we go up and we go down and we don't want to close and we're doing the best we can and we're growing membership and things like that. And it's like, absolutely. Our job is to try and help you stay there and look at those ways. So that would be a constitutional change. If we say you've got to have 5 riders under 24, but you've only got 4 riders under 24, they are the type of discussions that the board would be willing to have a conversation about. Okay. So I don't need to tell. So currently, here we go, 15 areas of New Zealand Pony Club, and you're right there in the middle of the centre of the North Island. And your burgundy and gold, which I've still actually got my jersey, my jersey from Pony Club Champs in '87 in the cupboard. My mother knitted it on the knitting machine. It's rather extreme. Okay. So you guys already know that when you became from branches to clubs and things, these are the questions we're getting about clubs losing their identity, about losing their history, about losing their uniforms. These, you've been there, you've done that, you've retained your history, you've retained your uniforms, and I'm sure your traditions. It's not, our focus is not about closing clubs. Our focus is not about reducing our events. Our focus is on really ensuring and focusing on where the rider spends most of their time. It's about the grassroots and supporting the riders and you guys, the clubs there. You know that when you did merge and everything, your assets stayed within your area. That has been a worry with people. None of your assets ever come outside of your area. It's up to you to give guidance where they go. The final approval does go to the board. So you can't give your assets to the local cat shelter. They have to stay within Pony Club. So that's even, we've got some that said, oh, well, we bought gear with AMP. And it's like, okay, well, let's unravel that and see how much of the ownership belongs to you and how much belongs to them and what we can do. So we're here to work through it. You know that you can still host events. And now, why now? It's because the last review was in 2011 and people have said, have a look, keep reviewing. And we're definitely following a democratic process. We didn't want to come in and go, you must do this. It wouldn't work at all. So definitely want feedback. If any of you have got any questions at any time, just pop your hand up as well or let me know. So this is probably one of the things, like being in a smaller area as today, is to also consider, and I know this was a question when I was even in your area, are the area boundaries still what we need today? That's probably a discussion that every area is having. In Auckland and Franklin Thames Valley, there's been a lot of discussion about there's one pony club at the start of the road, 5 k's away. It's another pony club. One is in Auckland, one is in Franklin Thames Valley. So there's been a lot of discussion about, well, where should we be? Should we be in Auckland or should they be in Franklin Thames Valley? And even in my current branch in Katikati, they're like, well, we actually are more, it's closer to be in the Coromandel in Franklin Thames Valley. Should we be moving there? So it's those discussions that we're asking people to have. Is your branch or club youth focused and providing for the purpose of Pony Club? Does your branch or club have enough members to operate? And is your branch and club all in the right area? So there have been conversations that we're having. The purpose of Pony Club, about being the educational focus for youth with events and activities, our volunteers, our coaches. Do you want me to read that all to you? Or can you just, I'll let you have a brief read of that. I'll stop talking. Okay. Just my boss. Okay, and you know that with a 3-layer structure, you've basically got the national layer, your area, and then your club layer. So I'm already speaking to you guys that are the model of the 3 layers. So here you go. This is you guys, King Country.
Modelling the 3-layer perfectly.
Yeah, 3 layers already. 100% turnout. So I guess
Wow.
for us here, it's what questions do you have about this and how does it affect you? Because you're already a 3-layer opportunity layer. I know that you are smaller, but you are operating within the numbers of members. So I'm going to open the floor for any questions or thought processes.
Who's
So
going
does
to
that,
talk first?
oh,
Yeah, go, Joanna.
so does that essentially mean no big changes for us except for potentially if the clusters come in? Well, I'm unclear on how that would work.
Okay. Well, so we brought in the word cluster because we wanted people to think of changing the structure, and instead of saying everyone you can keep your area and you can be area and then your clubs, because we have some areas that are massively huge and they wanted to split up and become like North Waikato, South Waikato, or they wanted to split. So that's why the word cluster came in. So we admit it wasn't that clear, but we are happy if it's your 3 layers that you stick with are national, King Country, and then your clubs underneath. And that has been some of a lot of the talking around the table so far. I think you're meeting number 9, that most of the areas out there are really thinking, oh, well, we'll stay with our area and we'll make sure that our area is that administrative layer and being that layer between New Zealand Pony Club and that's no problem with that. It was for the idea that if you were in a massive big area, say Waitemata Rodney, I tried it with Northland. We talked about, I can't remember what we called them, Northland, Central Northland and Southern Northland, and were they open to splitting up into 3 smaller chunk sizes, or Bay of Plenty being Eastern Bay of Plenty, Western Bay of Plenty, and Southern Bay of Plenty, and that, if that was the layer they wanted to go to, we'd explore it. So splitting areas up, but that hasn't really been well received, and many people are saying, well, we just want to stick with our area. Our area works fine. Why would we change? And as long as it's in that 3-layer structure that you're currently operating with, that's currently fine.
Okay, so essentially King Country is our cluster.
Yeah, well, it's your area. Yeah, so your cluster your area. We'll use the word area. We used the word cluster and hub to try and stay away from area, so people weren't just thinking my area is changing. So, but it didn't. It, you know, in retrospect, our idea was very abstract, and so that's why these sessions are here. But you know, I have to admit, I've had some people come to me in the southern Waikato, more the central Tokoroa area, and go, you know, can we go and join the King Country and be like a central plateau area? You know, is King Country needing to expand? But you know, that's just from random clubs here and there. I've even had one person from Taupo come to me and go, well, why aren't we Central Plateau with King Country? Why, you know, is the name in the right situation and the change? But you know, you guys number wise, you've got enough numbers in your clubs. You're operating as a pony club. You're very functional. I email your area presidents and I get responses. It's not like you're never answering, you're not in the room. So personally, I have no concerns of you being an area.
Yeah, and I mean, it might be kind of fun to explore those possibilities in regards to, you know, Central Plateau and that sort of thing, just to have a different aspect for our kids moving forward. But I mean, it's not something that we have to do this minute, which is lovely.
No, and you don't have to do any of that this minute. And I even remember when I was in the King Country as a kid, there was many times that, oh, Pew Pew wants to join the King Country and Tika Witty wants to join the King Country. And it was more like at the time, it's, oh, they want to come and get in our team because they think it's going to be easier to get into champs in the King Country.
Once upon a time, Pew Pew was part of King Country.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's all of those questions that you get, but you don't have to explore that today. You could easily, with your numbers, just keep as carry on. You're giving the opportunities for kids.
Our first concern was with Tamaranui because it hasn't the adults to incorporate under a new constitution. So we were thinking that we would, a scenario could be that we combined and had two venues.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can have a venue anywhere, but that was our initial concern.
Yeah, and currently, I spoke to Todd last night because it says in the current Incorporated Societies New Act that it's 10. It's 10 as the officers. Now, we have to determine how many committee members there are. Currently, you need to have, you know, your DC. You don't have to have a president. You can have a secretary, treasurer that's combined. You can have a head coach. The others aren't meant to be combined, but I know all over the country there are combined presidents, head coaches. I know that happens because I've been there. I've done that. So I like that you're thinking about that. You know, constitutionally, if you wanted to have more members, and I'm not suggesting this, but I am suggesting it. Oh, Nana, you can come and be a member for a minute so we can get across the line. But that doesn't give you longevity, does it? And things like that.
Would you let us get away with having 5 adults?
I don't know what the number is, but as I said before on that slide, with the Constitution slide, when it comes back, they're the discussions that you and us would have together. And I'm sure, as I said to Todd last night, because it was the opposite, it was a club in Marlborough, Nelson, West Coast, and they've got plenty of adults. They don't have enough kids, but they're trying their hardest to get more kids, and they're absolutely focused on kids. It's not that they're doing it because they're a group wanting to have cheap grazing or not be in the purpose of Pony Club. And Todd said we could talk to those people all individually and make those slight changes to the, like we do now, we make changes to the quorum, and it's based on a year by year basis. So you apply for your quorum reduction to us, and we go, yes, you have a quorum reduction from 7 to 5 for 1 year. And then we do it the next year, and we do it the next year, and we do it the next year. So yes, they would be open to opportunities for sure.
I guess it's really lucky that all of Tamarunui's husbands are signing up for Pony Club too.
Yeah, they're just the silent roles. So my sound's just being really awful. It's just, I think, all working on each other. Okay, yeah. So you could look at all of those.
Yeah, we've been very lucky in that we are small and we can get around in our area quite easily. But are we big enough? I mean, we can't get a team to national champs. We can't get a team to actually the club competitions because we're so small as an area. It's just not equitable across the board. Really.
Yeah, but I completely agree with you. But we're also we've got very big areas that aren't getting people to champs. We've got very big areas.
I'm the first, and this has always been a bugbear, that why not? And what's happening to get them there when King Country, we play above our weight actually.
You do. You do. You know,
and we have had teams. We've had three teams over the last 6 years.
Yeah, we have.
We have
with draft riders.
riders.
Yeah, with draft riders. Yeah.
I have to say, like, we personally at New Zealand Pony Club, and Nikki's served on many committees over the time, we have to think differently with our events anyway. If we continually think only about teams and riders sending teams, and I've had 2 areas this year come to me and go, oh, we're not sending anyone because we haven't got a full team, or we're not sending anyone because you can't give us a draft rider. It's like, you need to think differently, guys. If you've got riders, and you guys have always done it from my day in 87 when I got to go to champs, my highlight of my whole pony club, still remember every single jump on that course. You know, you give riders that opportunity. If they've got their NQSs, you support them. And I always say to people in every of these webinars, you know, you've got to be like the King Countries of the world and support these riders and say, I support the rider. They've got their NQSs. You know, Bella came to Champs Week and she won. She won. The girl who won the DCs this year came from Waitemata Rodney. They only sent one person and she won. So I don't think we're striving to get more people at events, and we want to raise the mana and we want to get people there. But you guys are doing the things towards that. You are encouraging riders on that pathway as their goal. So I'm not looking at you going, oh, you never send anyone to events, because if I did that, I would have to look at a lot of areas and go, you didn't send anyone to eventing champs and you didn't send anyone to Champs Week. You know, all of those things.
It's not only the competition, it's like examiners clinics and things. We can run the games, which we do. We can't host champs because we just haven't got the manpower. So there are some of the things we can't do, but we can, as long as, like examiners clinics and a few other things, as long as we are allowed to join others and we don't have to host them. I mean,
yes, we're and Lorraine has just left the room because she's just gone to pick up Peter. We've got areas now saying to us, we can't host the examiner clinic by ourselves, but we can co-host it. Like, I know that if you had riders up there going for ANH, I wouldn't say to you guys are going to organise ANH, but I know that you'd come on board and help organise it and be part of it and do that. And I think that's something we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose that experience, because if we lose King Country and those little clubs and branches, then we're losing Pony Club, we're losing that horse welfare, we're losing that education, unless we go down the route of something like Te Kura, like a correspondence school for Pony Club, but it's not the same. You know, but as we said before, I liked what Joanna said, we don't have to set up your new areas or your expansion of an area just yet. That's not a today thing. I love that you're talking about it, but it's those conversations that I know have gone before you with, like, Gisborne, Wairoa, but now they're like, oh, we're really strong now. Gisborne, Wairoa is really strong, and it's like, oh, hang on a minute, we're now in, we're in the Hawke's Bay. It was a cycle that they were in for a while.
Can I just ask about the constitution side? So we've got the right thing that we need at the moment, but you're saying that the King Country actually won't have a constitution, and the funds for King Country will come down to our two clubs, and we just as the two clubs sort of run as if we were the King Country. Is that what you're saying?
No, sorry. So you'll have a New Zealand Pony Club constitution. The
Yeah.
area King Country will have a constitution.
Oh, well, right.
And
the
then
clubs.
Taumarunui and Waimarino would both have a constitution. If you decided that Taumarunui and Waimarino were to merge together and have venues, then that would be the club constitution in that layer. So you still have New Zealand Pony Club, King Country, Taumarunui, Waimarino. But if your administrative layer, your layer that's doing like your Inter-Pacifics, your signing off your A&H, you're sending people to eventing champs, your coordination that you do for your to get people and go, okay, we're going to do the examiners clinic and who's going to be in contact. All of that would still stay with King Country as you currently are. What King Country is currently doing at that level, area level, would be what King Country does. So for you guys, no day-to-day operational changes, because you haven't got. If underneath Taumarunui was still Ongarui and Ofongo, you'd be having those conversations with them and saying, let's merge up into Taumarunui or into Ratahi and Ohakune. You'd be talking about that and merging them up to that layer. But you've already done it.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys have already done it because you saw the need and moved it forward. And I can't even remember in my time there. I don't even recall that there was an Ongarui and Ofongo, but there was. But I was just Taumarunui. I was just like
And Kaitiiki.
Yeah, or Kaitiiki and Rita Rocky. Oh my God, I love those shows.
Yeah.
Oh, love those events. Yeah. But it's like the kids go to Pony Club and you just kind of see people and yeah. So basically, I can jump out of this slide and just show you some of the other changes, because we've been really focusing on our road tours around the country and through your living room. We've been really focused on only looking at the structure change. But, on our website here, under resources, sorry, I just moved that out of the way, you can't see it. We've got all the other things about the constitution change. So, all of these sessions have been really focused on the structure and what it could look like if they removed a layer and had the same model as you've currently got. That's our members survey. So we'd love you to fill in the members survey. And it's like, do you support the concept of the 3 layers? Even you either you can or you can't. I know you're currently in 3 layers, but we'd love to have your feedback. We would really love it. But this is the first webinar series, and this actually goes into slightly more detail. I was going to make that a little bit bigger, about the changes, and that was the membership. And, we know that we talked about clubs and clusters because we were trying to simplify, but I think what we did is we just kind of confused, and that was Anne Atkins telling me that. That was Anne, Nikki, telling me that, yep, you went around it wrong. And I love it. I love it. And currently we have a president role, and that the proposal is to take out the president's role and the vice president's role, and instead have the CE as the main officer in the board. That is up to you guys if you think that's needed, or if there's a David needed. I love having David with me, the type of David, and I also love having the concept of a patron. So they're very similar. It's a figurehead. It's a figurehead of the organisation, because often people see me as being paid by the organisation, where David is the president, as he's a volunteer. So, am I neutral, or am I, controlled or not controlled? Am I doing the mahi of the board? Which of course I am. It's a strategic focus of the board, for me to work on our strategic aims. The disputes process, so that's one of the other changes in here. So we'd love your feedback on that, especially the officers, and all the slides are in there. But the main focus has been that structure relayer, where in 2010 and 11, when Nikki was doing it, it was that change to a board structure from a committee of management. So that was our main focus there. So that's a little bit of where the information is. We've got a lot of questions and answers, but a lot of the questions and answers are concerning, oh, well, we're losing a layer. How are we going to run our events? Questions that are irrelevant because you've been through that. What's going to happen to our assets? You've already been through that. You are the structure of 3 layers. You've taken out one more committee of volunteers. So I'd love you to do that survey. And then the only other page that we've been kind of just going to is people have said, well, I don't know anything about conference. And conferences this year down in Christchurch, we've tried to make it as reasonable as possible. There's no nominate fees, so we've taken those costs as well. The biggest change here is that on Friday, instead of being normally an area forum where we have the 15 areas come along and discuss changes, it's national. So in the past it's got bigger and bigger over the years that I've been there, and a lot's discussed, and then it's repeated on Sunday at the AGM. And we really wanted to give you bang for buck for your conferences. If you're coming for conference, you're coming for practical ideas and workshops and to learn stuff and to get ideas. So we've really focused on that part of conference. And of course, you've got all your forms for your awards here. So if you've got any awards that you want to give out, go and check that out. All your forums, nomination forms we've got 2 board positions and registration. And if you want to do a funding application, I can write you a really good letter telling the funding the funding boards why you should come to conference. Yeah, so I really don't have a lot to talk to you guys about, apart from we really need, even though you're already in the structure that we're proposing, I'd love your feedback because you're the ones living it, to say if you support a 3-layer structure or a 4-layer structure, and if you've got thoughts on those other constitutional changes like the president and that, now's the time to tell us, because when we present it at conference, it's being voted on as a package. It's not going to be voted on line by line. It's voted on as a complete package, and it sits like that for a year until the next AGM comes around, and then it will have remits put on it that year. So whatever we vote in, we're living with it for a year.
So you're saying effectively there will be no amendments to the motion. Yeah,
that's what's been very clear, that the board has decided that we want to get it right now and no amendments. Yeah. I don't know if that's the norm. I don't know. I haven't done a constitution before. This is my first one. I remember the 2011 constitutions though, and signing it and having an SGM and all of that, but yeah. Yeah, and it's like we didn't choose this. The Incorporated Societies Act has done this, so has chosen to update. And it's meant to safeguard you as an organisation and make it more robust. Yeah. Were there any other questions? Were there any questions about anything? But I can assure you that you can stay the way you are as King Country, and then your 2 underneath.
So the draft constitution is going back to you. You're going to discuss it. It'll come out again, because obviously you're talking areas and not clusters. So you're going to take out clusters and change it to reflect.
I think they might just be calling it, like, I'm not sure, Dana, is it going to be called like a clubs? So I think it's going to be called clubs. I'm not sure if it's going to be national club, and then, I don't know if this is going to be called, and I don't think you can really, if it's going to say area or what's it's going to say there, but you get to decide what that area is. So probably be area, because it seems clearer, I think, in wording to be called area.
And it seems to be what people want the
And it's
most, really, isn't it? So far,
it's
yes.
so far in all 9, it's 100% we want to keep our
Area.
area. So far, occasionally you get from in behind 1 or 2 little comments like, oh no, we want to split our area, but 100% basically in these rooms at the moment, it's we want to keep our area. We'd rather merge our bottom layer of our branches into our clubs and have venues like you've already done and keep our area, because our area knows its function and it's working well. So that's good to hear.
So
And
from
we seen
here,
that-
then, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just so we send you out the draft again in the July, so you'll see, and that should have all the correct wording in the. So from the timeline there, that will send you out the constitution as it should be voted on on the 3rd of August, and that'll
Right,
have the
so that's
clear wording,
July.
and
Mhm.
that'll reflect whether it's going to be the 3 layers or the 4 layers.
Yeah, and that's why we need the feedback, because we know, I think, as you know, Nikki, to get a constitutional change at 75% of the membership. So, you know, we need to be confident that we're going to get a pass of 75% of the members, and that's why we're encouraging everyone for feedback now to go, are we there, are we not there, are we staying with the 4, and we do what you did in 2011. But this conversation has encouraged people to think about it and step towards that move. So that's why that feedback is really, really important for us. And once again, that was on that site. What I will do tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, is send out the minutes and the slides and the link for you.
Does anyone have any else questions? Anything else I'd
One
like
quick
to share?
thing, Lizzie, or team, if we're considering the possibility of changing our area, is there any set time frame that we have to consider that in, or can we do it at any time?
You can do that at any time, and there are discussions that you just bring to me. It doesn't, and it could happen already at any time, just like mergers and things like that. You know, because the area is going to, your area is not defined. The area is not defined in the Constitution. The areas are defined in the general regulations.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that, like, if
No,
we don't
no.
have
So
any
you
timeframes
could
for
say,
anything.
actually, we're going to carry on like we are, and this we're going to keep going like we are, and we're going to just keep this on our radar and keep this on our radar, and that's a conversation between us, and then when we're us and then the board.
Well, you know, if people are inquiring about King Country, feel free to give them our number.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm picking, if you did want to expand the King Country and incorporate some other clubs in it, and then realistically, because if under the 3 layer structure, King Country could possibly just do a name change if you wanted to, like, incorporate Taupō or something like that into your area. Then, as
absolutely.
Lizzie said, that could happen later on.
Yeah. I've had that. I had that suggested to me very early on by one of the Taupō clubs. It was like, oh, we should just become Central Plateau, King Country Central Plateau. I'm like, there's, you know, but I don't know. I'm burgundy and gold.
Tell
and
them to
like,
call us.
Yes.
burgundy, gold and green. Well, never rode for Bay of Plenty, just Tauranga. So yeah. But isn't it interesting, because last year I had Katikati, my own club in Bay of Plenty, come to me and go, we want to move areas, and I was like, don't be so silly. But my thinking was so limited, set on these limits, and it's like, well, why not? Why not? You know, and then I get people saying, oh, so what payout do I take? And it's like, it's not a dowry system. I don't know. Oh, 2
So I
guys,
think it
that
was.
horse.
Yeah. So I think it was a good thing just to chuck the word cluster in there, because it has I suppose, moved people's mindset off being in that stuck area and being able to, have the opportunity to think about either growing or shrinking. There are areas that possibly would need to shrink because there's too many clubs that would be forming up there.
And I have to be. I've got a couple of clubs and really large clubs that are like, well, we just want to go out by ourselves. We don't want to be. We just want to be us. Well, I don't. That would be 1-2 layers, but it's kind of like. But it's those conversations. It's good to have those conversations. But whatever we adopt, if we do adopt a 3-layer system, it's an expectation that it will happen nationwide. It's either a 3-layer system or we stay with the current system where you can be 3 or 4-layer, and it's up to you. But at least the positive thing about this is we've engaged with, so far, 9 of the 15 areas. This has been massive for us. We've really enjoyed it because we're having those conversations. No matter what, there's been so many benefits to this.
It's been really cool to hear everyone's ideas of change, and it's been real cool.
Oh.
Yeah, well, we don't want to keep you if you haven't got any questions because we know it's I've got to think, Thursday night.
Yeah.
a Thursday night. And we're looking forward to seeing some of you maybe at Coaches Conference or conference. But anytime, you're most welcome to call. You're most welcome to flick us an email or anything. You're really lucky. You have got a treasure in Nikki. She's an expert over there. She's absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, I'll be calling her and asking her questions.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks, Lizzie.
I admire your stickability, you ladies, being talking every night and to the different areas. You'll be glad when it's over.
Yeah,
Well,
but
Lizzie will be able to recall it in her dreams.
Yeah, I admire that you did it. You actually went on the road with it. At least I don't have to go on the road. It's quite nice.
It's part of the fun, I think.
No, down here for Coaches Conference, and that looks super exciting. So yeah, I'm living the dream. So thank you.
Oh, well, thanks. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice to see you all, team.
Nice to see you.
See you at conference.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
My computer, is that better? I think it was just my screen.
Not working.
It's just I've got lots of feedback tonight. I don't know what the feedback's from. Don't know.
Can't get mine to drag over.
That's okay.
Did you turn the recording off,
Getting
Lizzie?
out of there.
Oh, no, I haven't turned the recording off yet. There we go. Stop recording.